Hey everyone, and welcome back to Crystalline. It's been only a week, but I feel like it's been such a long time since I last recorded this. Good God. Time's going by fast. It's already October 1st. God damn! I'll be turning 25 in 11 days. That messes with my head. Oh, that messes with my head. Oh, but in the last episode, we got officially confirmed we're dating Liana. Nice. And Liana's being called home for some reason or another. Let's find out why. Still feeling the lingering effects of my cast, we make slow time, but continue our journey towards Hearthdawn. After about 4 more days of travel, we soon see the buildings casting tall shadows over the gates of Hearthdawn. I'm gonna have a hard. I want to keep saying that Havengard. Where's Havengard from? Is that from this, or is that from a game I played before? I don't remember. The wrought iron gates have intricately curled cast iron tips. We can already tell that this place is more extravagant than any other town we passed through. The guards look us over as we approach, but when they see Liana, they nod deeply.
Welcome back, my lady.
Yes, thank you.
Liana blushes deeply as she stammers out a reply. The guards bow slightly as Liana hurries through. No. Wow, you're quite the popular one around here. Liana laughs awkwardly.
Oh, I'm sure they say that to all the girls.
Are you sure you're not just secretly famous or something? Her face pales.
What? That's crazy.
You're a princess. That's a bit of an overreaction. Oh, I know. I was just joking.
Oh, right.
Liana exhales, but doesn't seem any more relaxed. I narrow my eyes. Unless there's another reason that guy would call you his lady. Her eyes widen and she quickly raises her hand, shaking her head.
Him? No way. Don't be ridiculous.
Good. I wrap my arms around her waist and pull her close. Because you're my lady. Liana smiles gently, then detangles herself from me. Why is she being shy again? Liana hurries ahead and leads us through the finely cobbled streets. The shop fronts are all neatly primed with respectable potted plants and other small decorations. The signs all have various elegant looping letters. I don't see letters, unless those are letters. I feel like I've just stepped into a Jane Austen novel. Amelia follows close behind, clutching the pongo close to her chest. She surveys her surroundings with silent interest. Kara flashes Zack a playful smile.
Milord.
No.
Oh, come on. Won't you at least offer me your arm?
Why? You always just take it anyway.
She pouts.
You don't have a romantic bone in your body.
Poor Kara. She's with the wrong guy. She tugs on Zack's arm anyway. He doesn't resist, and soon the two of them catch up. The further we travel through the town, more people seem to recognize Liana and give her the same polite greeting. She nervously responds, trying to downplay the attention. Okay, is our protagonist that stupid? Her last name's Dawn. This place is called Hearthdawn. Her family is prominent in this town. She's the daughter of the Lord and Lady. Okay, now it's starting to be weird. I exchange confused glances with my team. Why be confused? It's obvious. Finally, we reach the deserted area of town. A small smile returns to her face as she recognizes the shops and streets with which we travel. Although she doesn't talk about her home much, I can tell she's happy to be back. Our boots crunch under white gravel as we turn into a long, tree-lined drive. Lush green lawns and colorful gardens sweep from the road to the estate. Okay, I doubt I'm going to get a CG here, but this will work as the CG. God damn, that's beautiful. I love that little sun disk. The estate is dazzling white, maybe 4 or 5 stories tall. A large fountain sits before it, the water spraying and glittering in the sunlight. Beyond the mansion and framing the scene are the mountains and the brilliant blue sky. Kara's eyes go wide.
Whoa.
Zack whistles appreciatively.
Damn.
Yeah. Amelia pauses, taken in the mansion.
The architecture for this building is quite
Excuse me.
exquisite. Would this be the town hall or mayoral house, perhaps?
Liana twists her skirt nervously.
Not quite.
What is it? As if on cue, a small woman in a simple clothes and plaited hair passes by. She nearly drops the bag she's carrying when she sees Liana and dips into the low curtsy.
Milady, you returned home. Home?
You grew up in style, huh?
Liana's cheeks flame.
It's nothing.
I get that reference. Liana, you didn't tell me you're a princess. Liana's flushes peony pink.
Because I'm not.
She doesn't want to be seen romantically with us. With me. Are you sure you aren't princess? Because your Prince Charming is standing right in front of you. She looks around.
Really? I don't see him.
Ouch. Liana notices my face and laughs.
Just kidding. I found him.
Liana sucks in breath. It seems like all of our excitement has got her flustered.
Let's just get going.
I follow her up the gravel road. As we get close to the fountain, I notice the same sigil on Liana's letter is engraved into stone. The waterwork runs from the sapphire swan. Where the fuck's the swan? The Pongo's eyes go wide. He squirms out of my scarf and leaps for the fountain before landing in the big splash. I think he is just cannonballed right in there. Timeout. Consistency error. First one I've picked up on, I think. He was in... Liana was holding him prior. Now he was in our scarf. Shame. Shame, shame, shame. Continuity errors. The Pongo barbles happily in the water as he continues to splash around pretending to be a fish.
Aww.
Liana rushes over to the fountain and gives the Pongo a little tickle. He giggles happy bubbles.
I wish I could save this moment forever.
Shall I go and fetch the portrait master?
No. That won't be necessary.
Okay. Their own portrait master too? Huh. How rich are these people?
As you wish, milady. I shall go and alert your father of your return.
She curtsies again and hurries towards the mansion.
So that just happened.
Kara giggles.
I think you left out a few important details, which would have been nice to know.
Indeed. If we had prior notice of your noble heritage, perhaps we could have made more appropriate preparations on our presentation.
Presentation?
Yes, such as our choice of dress.
She looks pointedly at Kara, who's half naked.
I dress very appropriately for my profession.
We just stare at her. She crosses her arms. I'm confused. I know she's an explorer. A tomb raider. But she gives off the thief vibe so much.
Well, it's a little too late for that now.
Don't worry about it. We'll just go in and I'll say hi to my parents, and I'm sure we'll be out in no time. Come on.
Liana leads us to the front door. She reaches up to the golden door knocker and pounds twice. The double doors fly open. An older man greets us with a warm smile.
Lady Liana?
Scroggins Wigglesworth. Okay, whoever donated money to have this guy put in, why that name? Liana's face lights up.
Scrotchins! It's good to see you're still doing well.
The butler, or Scroggins, as it were, bows at... Oh, Scroggins is a title. As it were, bows at the waist.
Lady Liana, how good to see you. Your father...
He trails off, eyeing her clothing.
My lady, what are you wearing?
Mage Knight. She glances down at her white armor. Horror flashes across her face and she squeaks.
Oh, this old thing?
It's the new uniform for mage researchers. Scroggins frowns.
Sir, please forgive my impudence. However, I do recognize the uniform of a mage knight when I see one. After all, we do have a mage knight within the House of Dawn.
Right, brother. Her voice rings with pride. His voice. Oh, Scroggins, if you only knew. Leanna's face turns pink.
Pay him no mind, Scrogins. Now, where is my father?
Liana adeptly avoids answering. The air of authority in her voice silences Scroggins. He's unconvinced but lets the subject drop. He clears his throat.
As I was saying, my lady, your father is in an important meeting.
Liana frowns.
I see. And my brother?
Your brother will not arrive until this evening,
He looks apologetic.
and the rooms are not yet prepared.
Liana blinks.
Oh,
My most profound apologies. You and your...
He pauses. His gaze travels from Zach's weathered trench coat, Amelia's school uniform, Kara's skimpy outfit. He sees the sword strapped to my back and arches an eyebrow.
guests are more than welcome to wait here, if you so please.
The sword's going to find his way through his chest if he keeps talking like this.
no, thank you.
Her answer is unusually firm. Even Scroggins looks surprised.
Of course, as your lady pleases.
Liana looks a little uncomfortable.
How do you guys feel if I show you around town instead?
I'd be down for that. Kara grins.
That's a good idea. I'd be interested to explore where Lady Liana grew up.
Liana stiffens.
It's just Leanna.
Kara giggles, but Scroggins looks on disapprovingly.
Lady Liana, we would be happy to provide someone to show your friends the town. However, we do request your presence here at the house.
Oh? How come?
It was requested by your mother that should you return, she'd like your opinion on the preparations for this evening.
Liana sighs but nods.
Of course.
Thank you, my lady.
He bows and disappears into the mansion. Liana sighs again and turns to face us.
Sorry about that.
The burden of being a princess, hmm?
Liana shoots her a look, but Kara merely smirks.
Are you going to be okay on your own?
Not really.
It will be no different from when we explore any other unfamiliar town.
Zach and I nod. With a short goodbye, Liana twirls around and enters the mansion, shutting the crystal doors shut behind. Shutting the crystal doors behind her. We head back towards town. So what's the plan now?
I think I'm going to go to the marketplace. What about you, Zach?
Zach shrugs.
Oh, probably go to the...
Kara interrupts him.
In. I don't know why I asked. What about you, Amy?
She looks thoughtful.
Perhaps I will search for a library.
Sounds about right.
And I get a choice between who I get to go bug first. We make our way down to the gravel path until we arrive back in town. We all split off and head in different ways. What do I feel like doing? I'd like to spend more time with Liana. Let's go find Kara. Have some femininity into this episode. Let's find Kara. Hey Kara, wait up! It's marketplace too. I catch up to Kara and we make our way to the marketplace together. I glance down at my feet and see the Pongo smiling up at me. He hops onto my shoulder, hitching a ride as we walk. Once we reach the marketplace, we stop by the nearest stall. She holds up a nice shirt. The Pongo inspects it with her.
What do you think about this?
Boy!
Oh, you really think so?
Pongo jumps up and down.
Boy!
Kara glances at the shirt again, then frowns.
I don't know. Might be too fancy for his tastes.
She puts it back where she found it.
Oh,
She gestures towards a tent that's selling genuine-looking swords. Some of them are decorated with jewels.
what about one of those? Those are nice, right?
The Pongo nods in agreement.
Boy!
Zzz,
On second thought, I don't He's not really a sword guy.
Yeah, Zack likes his
There's
guns.
a stall selling sweets and desserts. Everyone likes those, right?
Kara plants a hand on her hip.
Are you just agreeing with everything I say?
Pretty sure he's just saying poi. Pongos don't talk. Unless this is like one of those weird things like R2-D2 where Luke understands him but no one else does. The Pongo grins, bounces even higher than before. Kara sighs.
That's not very helpful.
I stifle a laugh. I guess the Pongo isn't the best shopping buddy. What are you looking for
A
anyways?
gift for Zack. But he's a lot harder to shop for than I thought. And the little blue guy here is not helping.
She looks through thoughtful as she turns back to me.
Hey, so you're a guy. What do you think Zack would want?
I have to. Zack likes leather.
Yeah, but he already has a trench coat.
That's not the only leather thing he has.
Oh?
I would have assumed you've seen it given how close you two are. Kara's eyes widen.
Oh my. He's showing you that too?
Wait, what?
What?
I was going to say he has a leather belt.
That's funny. I was going to say the same thing.
He has leather undies.
And he knows how to use it.
She winks. A shudder ripples through me. That's not something I want to imagine. Kara laughs at my discomfort. The Pongo looks back and forth between us and then grins. Kara taps her chin in thought.
Zack is really attached to his dischargers. So maybe...
She lights up.
Oh, I know!
What?
Come on, I have an idea.
Kara leads me to a different section of the shop that has another man at this counter. He's surrounded by trinkets and toys.
Hello, how can I help you today?
I'm looking for wind rings.
Of course, right this way.
He shows us a sphere.
Here it is.
I blink. I don't get it.
It's a game. You shoot targets.
What targets? It's just a sphere.
The targets are activated by wind magic. See that button on the top? You press it and the sphere shoots out energy rings which go in 6 different directions. You have to try to shoot within the target.
That's pretty neat, actually.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of it. This game is pretty popular.
I'm from another world. Not from around here. The salesman
This
shrugs.
comes with an underpowered wind discharger. You won't find a better deal anywhere else.
I'll take it.
The Pongo grins. Kara beams after purchasing the game. Her eyes zone to a location with silken garments.
Oh, those look pretty.
She starts to head into that selection of the store, and I begin to follow her, then she stops me.
You might not want to go in there.
Why not? She points to a sign which clearly reads, Vicky's Mysteries. Ha, Victoria's Secrets. I take a longer look inside the stall and notice the bras hanging off the shelf. Oh. Probably wouldn't be happy to hear I went underwear shopping with Kara. Think I'll go for a walk around town, actually. Kara
I'll
grins.
catch up with everyone later.
Later. I'm about to scoop up the Pongo, but he follows Kara inside. That little pervert. Oh well, we make our way out into the shops and back to the center of town. I think about my next move. Oh, just go in order. Let's go see what my good buddy Zack is up to. Looking for bounties, I bet. I weave my way through town until I stumble across the inn. I'm surprised to see Zack drinking at a table instead of the usual position of the bounty board. I slide into the seat next to him. Hey! Zack blinks as if coming out of a trance.
Oh. Hey.
His eyes seem distant, like he's got something on his mind. Everything okay? He doesn't say anything, his hands tighten around his mug.
Yeah, I've just been thinking.
I sit up straighter. Oh? I pause, waiting for him to continue. About what?
My parents.
Zack is actually confiding in me? This feels like a whole new level of trust for our friendship. I get that. Sometimes I think about my parents, too. I wonder what they're doing, if they're thinking about me. Zack nods sympathetically.
It's a bit different for me. I became an orphan when I was really young. I don't remember my real parents that much, but I do remember the sense of warmth and security I had with them. I know that they loved me. They were good to me.
He hesitates, searching for the words.
After they were taken from me, I guess I always hunted for that feeling of being accepted and wanted.
I nod. Yeah. I can't even begin to imagine what Zack has gone through.
Damon gave me that.
His throat bobs. He takes a heavy drink. After a moment, he shakes his head.
Vera was already a part of the group when I joined. He had been there for a full year. Damon looked after the both of us. Since I couldn't remember my real father that much, I always looked up to Damon. He was like a father to me. I thought he was like a father to Vera too, but...
His grip tightens around his mug again.
We all loved Damon. Everyone in that group supported each other like a real family. To know that Vera could betray us like that.
His words feel heavy. They hang in the air. I'm not sure what to do, so I reach over and clasp a hand over his shoulder. I'm really sorry, man. He nods.
Thanks. It's all over now anyway.
He trails off.
Sorry. I didn't mean to get all serious.
No, it's completely fine. You've gone through a lot. Sometimes it's better to just let it all out. Zack nods.
Thanks.
I nod. What are friends for? A small smile tugs at his lips.
Seriously, though. If it weren't for you guys, this whole Vera business would have been a whole lot worse.
Should have killed him anyways.
So,
You're welcome. We fall into a comfortable silence. Zack seems more at ease now. I think he's finally starting to make sense of his past. Zack takes a few more sips of his drink. Eventually I get up and stretch out my legs. I think I'm going to go walk outside for a bit. You want to join? He shakes his head.
I've got a bounty board to check.
Of course you do. He grins and I match it before saying my goodbyes. As I leave the inn, I feel a comfort knowing that Zack's feeling more like his usual self. I make my way back to the town center and ponder my next move. I remember Amy mentioned that she was seeking out a library. I circle around town and to my surprise I find one. After making a lap inside, I don't find Amelia. I wonder where she could be. I make my way towards the marketplace where there seems to be the biggest crowd. As I pass a bookstall, I recognize Amelia's cloak. Huh. Haven't read any good books in a while. I wonder what Amy's going to pick out. Probably a history book or some non-fiction. Hey. She stops and turns around.
Oh, greetings.
Hello, hello. What can I interest you in today?
We're just browsing. Amelia flips through one of the books.
The pictures are quite fascinating. They are unlike any text I have seen before.
He beams.
These are character books.
Character books?
Yes.
He flips through one of the books. They look like comic books. Okay. Oh. I get what they're going with this one. With panels of hand-drawn characters speaking in thought bubbles. They're comic books. I glance at the novel Amy is looking at. I notice that they're all same art style. These look like mangas we have back home. Amelia blinks.
I see. And those are fictional narratives.
Yeah. She hesitates and continues flipping through it. I'm surprised you're still checking these out. I wouldn't expect you to be the type to be interested in manga.
In truth, I have never read one.
I could help find something that you might like.
That would be appreciated. What do you recommend?
Death Note. For her, anything with robots. It's true. I'm a mecha nut. I love Gundam. That's my anime of choice. I've do they? No, I've only watched the anime. I don't think they even have manga of Gundam. They probably do. I'm not sure though. Yeah, that's a true fact about me though. I'm a Gundam nut. I really like anything to do with robots. Let me see. I browse the books to see if anything catches my eye. This one seems pretty familiar. Student goes to an academy to study how to pilot and maintain mechanical
What
suits.
are these units for?
It's used for military use, but now it's for recreational sport and entertainment.
That could be enlightening.
Wait, I think they're referencing their other... the company that makes this game. I think they're referencing the other game they've made. With other visual novel, which I plan on getting someday. Amy accepts my suggestion and approaches the salesman.
I would like to purchase this novel.
Excellent choice.
She turns to me.
Are you also purchasing a character book?
Buy the hentai. Sure, why not? Yeah, one of these did catch my eye. I pick out one of the mangas and pay for it. The salesman places our books into 2 separate bags. I'm excited to dive into a new manga. It's been a long time. Yeah, it has been a long time.
Thank you for helping me choose the perfect fictional narrative.
I hope you enjoy it. She nods.
I have spent much time in leisure. I should make productive use of this free time and see if there's any research or reading I could do on either the Shadow Temple or Void to help us with our imminent battle.
Makes sense. I'll leave you to it then. She nods and we separate, going our different ways. Okay, let's go see some of what Liana's up to. I'd like to spend more time with Liana. Maybe I'll go see what Liana is doing. She's probably done with whatever she had to do by now. I retrace my steps back to the mansion. It's not hard to miss. It's sparkling and white, sitting on top of a hill overlooking the entire town. I soon make it back to the estate. A servant shows me inside and leads me to the crystal patio doors, opening them to reveal a magnificent courtyard. Hey!
Oh, hey!
Liana looks surprised to see me, but not unhappy.
What are you doing here?
I just thought I'd come see if you needed any help.
Thanks, but I'm alright. Give me 1 second, okay?
She disappears into the mansion. I take a moment to look at the courtyard. There's a maze of hedges in the middle of the garden. Surrounding it are bushes of flowers. The palettes add dashes of color of mists to green like a pastel rainbow. After a few minutes, Liana emerges.
Follow me.
She grabs my hand and leads me further into the courtyard. Where are we going?
I want to show you something.
We twist through the maze and neatly trimmed hedges. The flowers sway as we pass them, as if waving hello. Finally, we pause in front of the gnarled tree.
This is where I spent most of my childhood.
By the tree.
Yep. Well, the whole courtyard, really. My brother and I would play hide and seek in the maze when we were younger. Sometimes I'd hide when my parents wanted me to do something I didn't want to do. Scrogans would spend hours trying to find me. I got really good at hiding and was able to sneakily move to a new spot if I knew he was coming close.
What a rebel. I imagine a young Liana peeking behind one of the hedges and they'd smile. I'm sure Scroggins didn't think so, but that is adorable. Liana
I
laughs.
used to get into so much trouble when he'd eventually find me.
So, what's the story behind the tree? Her face lights up.
My brother and I would train here.
Train?
Yes, in sword fighting.
Oh. She notes in surprise the surprise in my voice.
Why do you seem surprised?
I don't know, I just assumed you did all your training at the academy. She shakes her head.
It was proper for my brother to be trained in combat. I would often sneak here to watch him, and sometimes he'd teach me in secret. When my parents discovered I wanted to learn, they let me. I'm not entirely sure why. They're usually pretty strict about things, but I guess they felt like it wouldn't really matter either way.
At least you got the opportunity. She nods and places a hand affectionately on the tree. I step closer and notice the nick along the bark, casually from the sword practice, I assume. It sounds like you and your brother have always been close to. She brightens again and at the mention of him.
Yeah, he's a bit older than I am, so he's always looking out for me. Even when I was little, if Father was angry with me, my brother would take the brunt of the anger to try to protect me.
She turns to me, the light dancing in her eyes.
I'm nervous, but I'm also very excited to see him again. It's been too long.
Suddenly a sigh smile spreads across her face.
Follow me.
Again?
Come on!
She grabs my hand and steers me deeper into the gardens. Where are we going now? She giggles.
You'll see.
Liana pushes aside some of the greenery, revealing a small gap. It looks as though it may have been bigger before, but it's been overgrown. What's this? Her blue eyes twinkle.
So impatient. Come on.
We squeeze our way through, having to bend low to avoid hitting our heads. Some skinny branches scratch at my skin. After a while, Liana pushes aside even more branches and leaves. A soft breeze laced with the scent of something floral caresses my face. She leads me to a tiny grassy area surrounded by trees. They remind me of weeping willows. Except the branches bloom with long streams of sky blue flowers. They weave over us like a canopy blocking out most of the sky and sunlight. Some garden beams are able to filter through the flowers and fluffy and that. Wow, I read like shit today. I let out a small breath. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
The branches sigh. Streams of blue blooms flutter in the breeze. Too much alliteration. Stumbling me. Liana reaches up and touches one, her fingers lingering at the end.
If I ever wanted to be alone, or not have the servants find me, I'd go here.
She's smiling, but her voice is soft as a flower. She meets my eyes and then blushes, looking away. Why did you want to be alone? She hesitates.
I struggled a lot with what I wanted to do, and what my parents wanted me to do. I didn't want to disappoint them, but there were so many things they wanted me to do I felt was pointless.
Like what?
Like embroidery lessons.
Her voice raises in frustration.
Those stupid tiny stitches! Do you know how many times I pricked my fingers because of that? And it's not even useful sewing, like mending clothes. It's literally just for decoration. But a lady embroiders. And so my mother insisted that I do so too.
I had no idea you've been holding on to that for so long. She looks surprised.
Me neither.
Well, let it all out. What else are you angry about?
Corsets. What's so bad about letting a lady breathe?
Wearing a corset now! I laugh. There are a few leaves sticking up in her hair from the scrubs. I smile, reaching to pluck them out. Liana meets my gaze and blushes. A few sapphire petals have fallen into her hair. I brush those away too. My fingers slide down to the end of her blonde locks and twirl the curl of her hair around. Liana smiles, bashful. Time seems to slow as I gaze into her. The peacefulness of the garden fills me with courage. I know Liana wants to keep a secret, but we're finally alone. Her eyes search my own, and I feel myself drowning in her crystal blue eyes. In this moment, everything feels perfect. I wrap my arms around her and pull her close. She loops her arms around my neck, sealing the distance between us. I lean down and place a gentle kiss on her lips. She responds eagerly, pressing against me, deepening the kiss. I feel her hunger for me as I taste the sweetness of her lips. Her fingers, they do good right in a kissing scene, I gotta say that. Her fingers run through my hair as I leave a trail of kisses along her neck. Her breath catches each time my lips touch her skin. Fuckers! And then a faint voice, someone calling.
Lady Liana!
Fuck! Why can't we just be alone? We freeze.
Lady Liana!
The voice rises higher.
Lady Liana, where have you gone?
Oh no!
Liana's face flushes. She wiggles until I release her.
Better go.
Based on what you said, we're still got a few hours before he finds us. I try to pull her back, but she escapes my grasp.
It's time to go.
She smooths out her hair and skirt and I sigh. Alright. I go to follow her, but Liana stops me.
Wait! We can't leave together.
Why? Liana blushes.
Because... Just wait here for a little bit. I'll go back first, and then once there's been enough time, then you can follow.
Okay. She smooths out her hair and skirt one more time. She's about to leave, when she suddenly turns back around. She plants a quick peck on my cheek and flashes me a smile, then leaves. I wait for about 10 or 15 minutes before finally making my way through the garden. I get lost a few times in the maze, but I eventually find my way back out. As I return to the main estate, I decide to go back to town to see what else was going on. I walk down the drive until I reach the cobble streets of the town. I think I'll finally spend some me time. I wander around town checking out the shops and sights. It's not too different from most of the places we've visited so far, although I do notice how clean and well kept the place is. Once the sun begins to dip in the sky, I head back towards the mansion. The sky is streaked with rosy pinks and soft golds. A few silver stars wink in the mist. I meet up with my friends in the front of the Liana's estate. We start our way up the gravel path again. The Pongo sits on my shoulder as Kara walks next to Zack.
I wonder what Liana's family is like.
Zack shrugs.
I am most curious to meet them as well.
Sound like assholes from everything I'm hearing. I think they have a more traditional look on life.
Oh yeah? What makes you say that?
Just a hunch. We make our way up the massive stone staircase leading to the front of the door. Scroggins answers the door again.
Welcome back. Please do come in.
We carefully file through the door and into the front hall. My breath catches as I look around. A massive chandelier made of sparkling crystals hangs from the center of the high ceiling. The marble floor shines at my feet, so polished they look wet. Long halls stretch ahead of the countless doors. A bouquet of flowers sits atop of the hall table, and a magnificent staircase sweeps in the center of the room. Amy cranes her neck, her eyes wide as she looks around. Zack looks appreciatively at the decorative sword in the wall.
Whoa.
The ditto. The Pongo eyes glitter up at the crystal chandelier. His mouth seems to water as looking at it. I give him a gentle poke, snapping him out of it. No. No. He deflates, pouting against my shoulder. Liana arrives to give us a worried smile.
How was your time in town?
Oh, I was hoping she'd be in a special dress or something.
Great! There were so many cute things at the shops.
I'm glad.
She twists her hand nervously and falls quiet again. How have things been going on here?
Oh, fine.
I wait for her to continue. She looks blankly at me, then seems to remember.
Oh, dinner will be ready in a few minutes, if you all want to wash up first.
We exchange glances.
Are you sure you're okay? Did you get a chance to see your parents?
Well, no. I mean, I'm fine. But I haven't seen my parents yet. But that's okay, because Leo hasn't arrived yet. And I guess my father has some big news that he insists on sharing with both of us. Well, actually, if we're about to eat dinner, then I think that means Leo probably has arrived?
The words pour out of her mouth as if she can't control them. She finally pauses to catch her breath. I've never seen her this nervous before. Don't worry, I'm sure everything will be okay. She nods and takes a deep breath to calm herself. Then she gives an appreciative smile.
You're right. I'm sure you're right.
I swear it better not be a marriage thing. She leads us towards the room to wash up. We each have separate rooms, a testament to how large the mansion is. My room has an eggshell blue walls trimmed with silver. Curtains flutter in the soft breeze of an open crystal door leading to a balcony. I notice the bed filled with plush-looking blankets and pillows. I cannot wait to dive into that. Instead, I quickly wash up using the wide basin shaped like a seashell. Then meet the others downstairs. Liana waits for us again. I look up to her and look down and blink in surprise. Why are you still wearing your armor? She blinks.
What else would I be wearing?
I thought your family didn't know about you being a mage knight.
They don't, but
She hesitates.
I don't want to keep it a secret from them anymore.
Is that why you're so nervous?
It's a big reason I am. I'm not sure how they'll react.
Kara puts a comforting hand on Liana's arm.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Your family loves you.
Liana nods. She smiles to reassure us, but worry is still creasing her brow. Scroggins arrives. He looks surprised at Liana. I think he expected her to change her clothes as well, but doesn't say anything. Instead, he leads us to the dining hall. The heavenly scent hits me in the face as soon as I enter. A long table fills the room full of delicious-looking food. Steam wafts from the lamb chops, chicken, bread, lobsters, vegetables. My stomach rumbles. This looks like it's going to be the best meal I've ever had. A young man clad in sparkling white armor stands in front of the huge crystal window. He looks to be a few years older than Liana. His back is straight and holds his head high, exuding an air of regality and authority. He seems to be absorbed in thought and doesn't notice our arrival. Liana beams.
Leo!
Her brother looks from the window. When he notices Liana, a wave of surprise flickers across his face.
Leah? This is a surprise.
He has green eyes. His name's Leon? With the name Leo, I was expecting something more like Leonidas. Or something. Not Leon. He doesn't look like a Leon. I think I'm going to end it here and save the dinner party for the next episode. I'm going to try to keep these episodes to be a little longer now, around the 45-minute range instead of the 30-minute range. Because honestly, I expected this to be over by now, because I had an entire horror month planned for October. Not necessarily horror per se, but like horror. But now that's might not happen. If I do horror stuff, I'll be doing uploads on Saturdays. Saturdays now, the bonus episodes. Sundays, Sardonic Sundays. But yeah, maybe Amnesia this Saturday. Who knows? I'll decide in a little bit. But if you enjoyed this episode of Crystalline, please leave a like and share it around. It helps me grow the channel, and I really appreciate it. Become an Ember of the Phoenix today by following me on Squitter. Follow me on Twitter and subscribing to the channel. The link can be found in the description below and on the front page of my channel. And with all that said, this has been Black Phoenix with another episode of Crystalline. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.